Hi, I'm Michael Mayo, and I am from the Institute of Jazz Performance class of 2016.
Hi, I'm Paul Cornish. I'm from the Institute of Jazz Performance class of 2020.
And we're doing a vocal piano duo workshop for the Herbie Hancock Institute for International Jazz Day.
Lovers no more, just friends, but not like before. To think of what we've been and not to kiss again seems like pretending it isn't the ending. Two friends, yeah, drifting apart. Two friends, but one broken heart. We loved, we laughed, we cried. Suddenly love died, the story ends, and we're just friends. Yeah. Ooh, just friends. Lovers no more, just friends, but not like before. To think of what we've been and not to kiss again seems like pretending it isn't the ending. Ooh, two friends drifting apart. Two friends, but one broken heart. We loved, we laughed, we cried. Suddenly love died, the story ends, and we're just friends. We're just friends somehow. We're just friends. We're just friends. We're
So now I want to sort of talk about what I'm thinking about as a singer when I'm doing duo with a piano player. I think there are certain things that apply to duo in general, and then certain things that will apply to specifically playing with piano. I think it's one of my favorite settings. I really love singing with a piano player because there's something really intimate about it. And because we don't have drums, there's a lot of rhythmic information that we both sort of get to fill in that can be really interesting. You can play around with phrasing, you can play around with range. The challenging thing sometimes can be because the piano's range is so huge, their range is going to always encompass the range of the singer. And so sometimes I like when piano players are aware of where I'm singing in the range of the piano and aren't clogging up that same area. You know, it's always going to depend on the specific music, but usually it's like I want the piano player to be playing above where I am or below where I am and allow me to sort of exist in the space that I'm going to be in. Granted, in my case, I do a lot of sort of rangy singing, so I think that can be a bit of a challenge. But that tends to be one of the things that I tell piano players. And then another thing that I think is really important as a singer is to try to get as much information about the song or songs that you're singing as possible. And so I think it's important for us to obviously know the melody and the lyrics, but it's also important for us to know the chords of the song. Whether or not you have an extensive familiarity with jazz theory or theory in general, I think it's important to at least put your ear on the chords of the tune so that you can hear what's going on and become aware in the moment when the pianist decides to take a left turn. If you're used to using your ear and reacting to the choices that are being made, it's going to be a lot less intimidating if something unexpected happens. And in fact, it can be rather exciting when something unexpected happens. I also think for everybody involved, for the singer and for the piano player, we all need to know the lyrics and we all need to know the changes. And I think it's important that we are all sort of trying to get as much of the picture as possible. That way, the more informed we are, I think, the easier it is to just let yourself be expressive, right? And, you know, like I said, depending on whether or not you have a high level of theory understanding, that doesn't need to be a barrier to entry, right? Like, not everybody has to be a theory expert in order to play duo with a piano player. The main thing in that case that I would suggest is to have the piano player sort of play through the changes rather slowly and just listen, just spend time listening without singing. And in fact, why don't we do Just Friends? And we'll do the first A with me just listening to you. And then what I would suggest to singers is you have the piano player play a little bit where you're just listening. And then the second time, you try to sing a little bit and try to catch those small changes that you hear. Allow your wrong notes to be a teacher rather than a sort of enemy, right? The wrong note isn't something to judge yourself for. It's rather just something that's going to tell you what the chord is asking for. So I'm kind of just going to let him play for a bit, and then I'm going to come in and search for some of the voice leading. And this is a great exercise for you guys to do. Listening for voice leading. And when you hear a note pop out, you can always sing it to check in with your ear and your voice. Right? So like, I'm not necessarily taking a solo right now, right? I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily doing a full improvised solo moment as much as I am kind of just trying to listen to the voice leading and pick up on the few notes that I'm hearing. Now, for those of you who do have a deeper level of theory understanding, of course, you can get in there. If you're already hearing the changes and you already know them, you can obviously get in there and start improvising. But for folks who are either just starting out or it's a new song, right? I think it's okay to sing one or two little notes here and there and to just check in with what the harmony is saying. And the difference between playing with a piano player versus playing with a bass player duo, for example, which I also really love singing duo with a bass player. In that situation, there's way less harmonic information, right? And there's a lot more space. And so in one way, it gives you a little bit more liberty to sing quote unquote wrong notes. because there is so much space and there's not as much chordal information. But on the other hand, because there's not as much chordal information, there's less reference, so it can be a little bit harder unless you are really strong in your relationship to the chord progression. It can be a lot harder to kind of know where the changes are. And so the great thing about playing piano is that they're literally providing you with all of that chord information. It's just our job as singers to sort of listen and take it from there, right? Now, when it comes to singing a lyric over this, all of these same things apply, and I think ear training is really helpful because it can help you express the lyric in a deeper, more informed sort of way. So, can we take Just Friends again? And this time, maybe the first A I'll sing pretty regular, and then second A I might take some chances going along with what you're doing, so you can kind of just vibe. Cool. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Just friends, lovers no more. Just friends, but not like before. To think of what we've been and not to kiss again seems like pretending it isn't the ending. And I'll start to take some chances. Two friends drifting apart. Two friends, one broken heart. We loved, we laughed, we cried. Suddenly love died, the story ends, and we're just friends.
Right, so you see, like, I was kind of weaving in and out of the regular written melody, but anytime I was taking those chances, I was kind of waiting to hear what Paul was going to play, and then I was trying to catch some of that. And if this is a new concept to you, like, I promise you, you will sing notes that don't sound right, that just is inherent to the process. But I would invite you to treat those notes with a sense of curiosity rather than a sense of judgment, right? Easier said than done. But I think the more curious you're able to be during this process, the better of a time you'll have really trying to get in there. And that's the whole fun point of duo for me, is that it really becomes a game between two people. And that's like when you're able to really let go is when the music really starts popping. And yeah, I think that's one of my favorite aspects about it, is that you can have a lot of fun with it, and you can put in your time in the practice room so that when you get into the situation where you're actually playing with someone, you can just let go and not really thinking. I'm not really trying to think actively when I'm making music. It's more just thinking in the practice space and then being free in the music making space. I think it's really important for those of us who are singing and delivering lyrics to really develop a deep emotional connection to the lyric itself. I also think that same thing applies to the musicians that you're playing with. If they don't have the lyrics printed out, it's always important to put lyrics on your chart or to print them out on a lyric sheet and give them to them, so at least they have some sort of idea of what the song is generally about. A thing that I like to do is to, especially with older songs that are maybe written in ways that we don't necessarily speak anymore, right? I like to print out the lyrics and then process them and think about what they mean to me, and then rephrase them in a way that I would say them, in like layman's speech for the modern era, for example, right? So this song, Just Friends, the lyric, just friends, lovers no more, just friends but not like before. To think of what we've been and not to kiss again seems like pretending this isn't the ending. Two friends drifting apart, two friends but one broken heart. We loved, we laughed, we cried. Suddenly love died. The story ends and we're just friends. For me, if I had to paraphrase that in a way, if I was like writing a journal entry, it would be, I had this friend and we were friends for a really long time, and then we dated and it was great, and then we broke up and it sucked, and I had to pretend like everything is fine, and we're just friends now, and they seem great about it, but for me it's terrible, right? And that's a very sort of timeless universal theme that I think we all can relate to, and putting the lyrics into layman's speech is like a really great access point to make them feel a bit more real and on the ground and of the people, rather than sort of lofty, elevated, theatrical speech that sometimes some of these old songs have. So yeah, those would be my suggestions to you.
I dream each night. You say you'll love me and you'll hold me tight. Then I wake and you are out of sight. Oh darn that dream. Darn those lips and darn those eyes. They take me high above the moonlit skies. Then I wander out of paradise. Oh darn that dream. Darn that one track mind of mine. It can't understand that you don't care. Just to change this mood I'm in, I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Oh, darn that dream. But blessed too, without that dream I never would have you. But it haunts me and it won't come true. Oh darn that dream. Oh, darn that one track mind of mine. It can't understand that you don't care. But just to change this mood I'm in, I'd welcome a nice old nightmare. Darn that dream, but blessed too. Without that dream I never would have you. But it haunts me and it won't come true. Oh, darn
So what I like to think about in playing duo with the vocalist is the range of the piano. Essentially, you have the full range of an orchestra. So I think a lot of times we can fall into the habit of just only playing in the middle register of the piano. But there are a lot of things you want to consider in terms of how each range can contribute to what's happening musically. And so for me, if I notice that I tend to stick in one area of the piano, a good exercise I think to do is to practice playing through the changes of a tune, but kind of jumping around. So I'll do an example where I'm starting at the ends of the piano and then making my way in and then going back out. We'll use Just Friends, for example. And I'll just do half notes. Something like that can just get you out of just thinking just in one register. And so you take something like that and to give it more context as far as who you're playing for, you want to think about the register that their voices naturally sit in and also the range that they can potentially go, and avoid as best you can to clash with it. So for example, Michael has a lower voice, but he can also jump range as well. But I would probably start in a higher range, so maybe like here, like a little above middle C. As opposed to starting here, where I probably would naturally play again like the middle range. I think another way that you can leave space is rhythmically. You also want to think about the lyrics in that way of like, where does the melody fall, where do the words fall, and allowing space for the vocalist to get those words out. Because I think one of the worst things you can do is kind of clog up the message, because again, we're meant to complement and accompany, but also y'all are on this journey together. You want to start from a listening place first, as opposed to performative space. And then the next thing I want to talk about is playing duo in this setting versus playing with a bassist and a drummer included in that setting. So again, piano is like an orchestra, but it's also a percussion instrument. And I think that's what makes playing duo in general a cool opportunity, but especially with vocalists, you can sort of be the full band. And no, that doesn't necessarily mean you have to play a swing groove or walk a bass line, but you want to play with those things in mind of like including the lower register, the range that a bass would naturally play in, but also playing rhythms in a way that like a drummer may comp. I think something that I like to do is just play through a couple choruses, comping, and just listen for things you might naturally play and how that could come across. So I'll use the same song. hopefully you could, it felt like there was, a rhythm section there in the sense of, you add elements of maybe what a bassist would play, and then also having more rhythmic elements that a drummer might play. And, it kind of all becomes this all-encompassing thing. But the most important thing is starting first with listening. So none of this really matters, again, if you aren't playing from a place that is listening first for what the vocalist is singing. Something that Michael said earlier that I also agree with for a pianist is practicing your thinking in the practice room. And so you want to work out all these type of things in the practice room so that once you get into a live setting, you're no longer thinking about it and you're just going straight from a purely present and responsive state. And the last thing I want to mention is I think the best way to improve in this, everything we're talking about, is to check out some recordings of the great masters of this music that have played in duo settings. A recording that comes to mind is Fred Hirsch and Nancy King, amazing recording. Also, some great current artists are Sullivan Fortner and Cecile McLaurin-Savant. Definitely catch them live if you get a chance to. And a great historic recording is Tony Bennett and Bill Evans. Hope this helps.
I didn't know what time it was, then I met you. Oh, what a lovely time it was, so sublime it was too. I didn't know what day it was, you held my hand, warm like the month of May it was, and I'll say it was grand, grand to be alive, to be young, to be mad, to be yours alone. Grand to see your face, feel your touch, hear your voice, am all your own. I didn't know what year it was, life was no prize. I wanted love and there it was, shining out of your eyes. Oh, I'm wise, and I know what time it is now. Little day, do 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 day, do do day, do do day, do do day, do do la la lo lo. No 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 do 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 la do do ba do bo way di oh lay down. Do 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 oh de ya da ba do ba da ba da ba hu bu way da. Do do de da la da la da da do do la da da do de. Do 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 de do 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 de do. Bo le le do we de do oh le de de le do we do we do we do we do. Do 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 le do de do de do be de do we de de da no la la do de do le de do ba do le do le de do do le de de do we de de do. Not know what time it was, then I met you. Oh, what a lovely time it was, so sublime it was too. I did not know what day it was, you held my hand, warm like the month of May it was, and I'll say it was grand, grand to be alive, to be young, to be mad, to be yours alone. Grand to see your face, feel your touch, hear your voice, am all your own. I did not know what year it was, life was no prize. I wanted love and there it was, shining out of your eyes. Oh, I'm wise and I know, oh, I'm wise and I know. time it is now.